Krishna. Welcome everyone to our Caitanya Caritamrta reading of chapter 5, Adi-lila, Nityananda Balaram. So I'm just hoping that the internet is going to stay stable a little bit today. It's a bit shaky. Okay, so today is the 16th of June, Monday, 2025, and we're live streaming from Radhakund near Vrindavan. So today is the appearance day of Vakrashra Pandit, most auspicious day, a great celebrated Vaishnava associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It was saying that it's described when he dances, he requested that there be many thousands, 10,000 Gandharvas singing along with him in his kirtan. And he's described as dancing for 72 hours continuously. He had many disciples, thousands of disciples. In Krishna Lila, he's Aniruddha, who's the son of Pradumna, who's Krishna's son. So this is his exalted identity. And we've just been discussing the Chatuvyuha. So we have Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradumna, and Aniruddha. Aniruddha is that person who consorted with Usha, the consort of Banasura. So today we glorify Vakrashra Pandit. He's described in connection with Devananda Pandit also. He saved him from a great disaster. He was very offensive, Devananda Pandit, and because of his association with Vakrashra Pandit, he was saved from certainly a great offense. So Vakrashra Pandit is also the guru of Gopal Guru in our Jaivadama. So this line is coming there from Vakrashra Pandit. So today we're celebrating and honoring him. So there'll be a description of him on our WhatsApp thread, and I'll just leave it there. So Vakrashra Pandit ki jai, Gold Premanandi. So now we'll come to our subject matter. Agyan Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gauda Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kathamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Priya Sarupe, Jaita Sarupe, Prema Sarupe, Sahajabi Rupe, Nijana Rupe, Prabhueka Rupe, Datana Rupe, Swavilasa Rupe, Anapita Chirim Chirat Kurunaivartino Kalo, Samarpaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Swa Bhakti Shriyam, Haripurata Sundaradu Katamba Sadipita, Sadakra Dere Kandare Swaratu Vasachinandanaha. Yam pravajantamana petyam apetykrityam dvaipaino viraha katara ajuhava putre titam maitayo taravo binedustam sarvabhutam hridim munimanatoshmi bhaktya vihina aparada lakshay shiptasya karmadi tarangamadye kripa maitvam sharanam prapana prinde namaste charanaravindam Bhajami radham aravinda netram smarami radham madhurashmitasyam vadami radham karuna baradram tato mamanasti katina kapi tavaivasmi najivami tvaivina iti vignaya radhe tvam naimam charanantikam. I'm first of all offering millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of my most beloved Gurudev, Nitya-lila, Pravishta Om, Astok Tadasara Shishimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again, millions of times, unto the lotus feet of our dear most beloved Nitya-lila, Pravishta Om, Astok Tadasara Shishimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And again, I'm offering my Dandavat Pranams to the Most Exalted Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad, who has given us this wonderful literature of Caitanya Caritamrta. And again, I'm offering all my Dandavat Pranams to all the Acharyas in our Guru Varga and all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord. My Dandavat Pranams to all of you. Vanshakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvevacha Patitanam Papanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. It seems that our Facebook connection might not be working today. Someone, Rasavanjari, if you're there, you can just check that. I can't see anything happening there. Okay, so we're discussing in depth Nityananda Prabhu's glories, and his principal glories are in his service to the Supreme Lord. He is that person who is the Ishtadev, or represents the Sandini Shakti of existence. So all of the cosmic creation, the first Chaturvyuha from Mool Sankarshan, this Sankarshan is none other than Nityananda Rai, and the second Chaturvyuha coming from Mahasankarshan are manifesting all the worlds from Lord Narayan down the three Purusha avatars, etc. And the creation of this world coming from the glance, generated from the glance of Mahavishnu, Karanadakshay Vishnu, who sends the jiva, the entirety of all the jivas, the initial jiva, the prototype jiva, along with the element time in his glance. And that material element, that pradhan, is agitated, manifested, so it becomes prakriti. We remember these two terms, pradhan and prakriti. Very important. Pradhan is that which was there previously, initially, and that is also manifested, of course, by Nityananda Rai. All of this, the whole science of this creation rests on the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. This is why we're discussing it. This is his mercy, this is his service, rather, to the Supreme Lord, Brajendranandan Shyam Sundar, ultimately, because he's Balaram in Krishna Lila, and of course in Gora Lila, he's Nityananda Rai. So this is the first parikar that we're discussing of Mahaprabhu. We discussed initially in the first chapter was establishing the essential need, necessity of the spiritual master. And then in the second chapter, we established Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as that Swayam Bhagavan, that Supreme Lord. The third chapter, we established the external reasons for Mahaprabhu's advent, the loud calling of Advaita Acharya and bestowing the Mahamantra into the world. And then the fourth chapter, incredible chapter, we described the ultimate prayojan, or the confidential reasons for Mahaprabhu's advent, was to taste the prem of the gopis. And this same opportunity is there for the conditioned soul, for the jiva, to taste the prem of the gopis' love for Krishna in the form of Manjari Bhav. This is the gift of Mahaprabhu. And this is all described in the fourth chapter, most intoxicatingly beautiful chapter 4. And this chapter 5 is now solidifying all these truths. Everything is being very clearly presented according to Siddhanta and Tattva. So we have people next door to us, we have to put up with it. I'll try and speak louder than him. Okay, so we've been through the Chaturvyuha, both the Chaturvyuhas, and we've been through the different angsas, Karanadakshay Vishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu, and Shirodakshay Vishnu, principally, and we've described the creation of the world and the glance. And we've described extensively about Maya, Mahamaya, principally. Not so much Yoga Maya, but Mahamaya. Okay, so now we're coming to text 126. 126, Adi-lila, chapter 5. I don't know how to ask him to quite quiet. If Rasa Manjari is there, she might be able to just ring up Vrindavan or Padma Didi and ask the person who's in the room next door, can they just keep quiet? Okay. Jaya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda E Sabe Pramane Jani Nityananda Tattva Simha Tanha Ke Ananta Kahi Ki Tanra Mahima. Translation. From these conclusions we can know the limit of the truth of Lord Nityananda. These are the conclusions about the Chatuvyuha and about the creation of the material worlds, which we've principally been describing. Text 127. Attava bhaktera vyakya mani satyakari sakala sambhave tante yata avatari. But I accept it as the truth because it has been said by devotees. So now his Shraddha is opening out for us to also accept these truths, this Siddhanta. The jiva has to ultimately, his Shraddha has to be developing, his faith. So how do we put our faith in these Shastras, hearing these Shastras? How do we, because these great devotees have spoken this truth. So who has spoken it? Krishna's Kaviraj is repeating what he has heard from Raghunath Das and Swarup Damodar through the mouthpiece of Raghunath Das. And he's also hearing from Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami extensively. This we'll discuss at the end of this chapter more clearly, how Krishnadas Kaviraj is receiving this divine knowledge in what is his line. So we'll discuss this more shortly, very shortly. I think today we'll get to this part at the end, when Krishnadas Kaviraj begins to describe how he actually came to Radha Kund. He says, but I accept it as the truth because it has been said by devotees. Since he is the source of all incarnations, everything is possible in him. So this truth, we're talking about Ananta, and Ananta has manifested from Sankarshan, and Sankarshan is the principal personality that we're discussing now. So text 128. Avatara avatari abeda jejanai purvaya chekanake keho keho karimane. Translation. They know that there is no difference between the incarnation and the source of all incarnations. That is Swayam Bhagavan. Previously, Lord Krishna was regarded in the light of different principles by different people. So now we're coming into another topic, very beautiful topic. Different personalities, according to their adhikar, would perceive the Lord in different ways and different degrees of potency. Text 129. Kahe keha Krishna sakshat nara narayan Kaho kahe Krishna hoya sakshat viman vaman. Translation. Some said that Krishna was directly Lord Naranarayan, and some called him Lord Vamanadev incarnate. Text 130. Keho kahe Krishna shirdo shayi avatar asambarve nahi satya vachana sabar. Translation. Some called Lord Krishna an incarnation of Lord Shirodakshay Vishnu, those with Paramatma realization. All these names are true. Nothing is impossible. Krishna yabe avatare swamsa ashraya
Swam ashi tabe Krishnete milaya.
Translation. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, appears, he is the shelter of all plenary parts. Everything is manifesting from this one personality. Thus, at that time, all his plenary portions join in him. This is the identity of Mahaprabhu. He's the repository of all the other avatars. He's the avatari, from where all avatars are manifesting from. Translation.
Ye rupe jane se tahe kehahi sakala sambhave Krishna kichu mitai nahi.
In whatever form one knows the Lord, he speaks of him in that way. In this there is no falsity, since everything is possible in Krishna. This is going to be explained by Prabhupada. Purport. In this connection, we may mention an incident that took place between two of our sannyasis while we were preaching the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in Hyderabad. One of them stated that Hare Rama refers to Lord Balaram, and the other protested that Hare Rama means Lord Ram. So we also consider that Ram means Raman, that Supreme Lord, Radha Raman. This is how we have been taught, that the Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, that Ram represents Radha Raman. But Prabhupada is not saying that here. Ultimately, the controversy came to me, and I gave the decision that if someone says that the Ram in Hare Ram is Lord Ramchandra, and someone else says that the Ram in Hare Ram is Sri Balaram, both are correct because there is no difference between Sri Balaram and Lord Ram. So therefore we don't have to contend with if other people don't consider that the supreme reality is that Radha Raman represents that Ram in the Hare Krishna mantra. There are others who will think differently according to their adhikar, etc. Here in Sri Caitanya Caritamrta, we find that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has stated the same conclusion.
Ye rupe jane se taha kahe sakala sambhave Krishna kichu mitya nahe.
If someone calls Lord Ramchandra by the vibration of Hari Ram, understanding it to mean, O Lord Ramchandra, he is quite right. Similarly, if one says that Hari Ram means O Sri Balaram, he is also quite right. Those who are aware of the Vishnu Tattva do not fight over all these details. So those who are aware that Hari Ram means Radha Raman, they are also correct. And there are different degrees of immersion in the sound vibration. And the name of Radha Raman is much more of a confidential mood of the speciality in Vrindavan, in the Kunjas in particularly. If we think Ram means Balaram, and we know from Tattva that Balaram is never present when Radha and Krishna are there together. This is not according to proper etiquette. We've described many times that when Radhika, she'll walk on the hill of Govardhan, she'll leave a golden stone behind her. And if Balaram will be the only one who sees that. And if he spots that, if he sees that, he'll turn the other way and walk away from there, because it's not correct for the elder brother to be with the younger brother and his consort. This is incorrect. So Balaram within the Mahamantra is not conducive for bhajan in the kunjas of Vrindavan. If we're thinking just on an Aishwarya level, then we can consider, some will consider that Ram means Balaram. So that's not to be contended with, because Prabhupada is saying here quite correctly, of course it's correctly, he's saying it, that Balaram is like a name of Krishna. So he can be called Balaram. There's no fault in it, is what he's saying. Don't contend things that are beyond our understanding. And if we think that Ram is Lord Ramchandra, let someone have that impression. But we maintain that Ram in the Mahamantra is Radha Raman. This way it's completely encased in a Braj mood. The whole of the Mahamantra has no deviation. If we suddenly throw Lord Ramchandra into the Mahamantra, what sort of mood are you going to get? If the sadhak is chanting the Mahamantra and focusing on the teachings of the Goswamis, wanting to attain the forests of Vrindavan, the kunjas of Vrindavan in their service to Sri Radhika, then Lord Ramchandra won't be anywhere about, and neither will Balaram be anywhere about. But if somebody is under that impression that one is Ram, and Prabhupada is writing this in 1973-74 for many of his younger disciples. Well, they were all young at that time. So he hasn't introduced the Braj flavor particularly, even though it's completely within so many of his purports we've brought out already. But in this particular instance, he's just leaving it there. He's not carrying it further. But we should understand, as sincere sadhaks, that Ram indicates Radha Raman. It could not indicate Lord Ramchandra, because that would make it completely a whole nother mood altogether of Aishwarya within the Mahamantra. And it couldn't indicate Balaram, because Balaram is not permitted into the kunjas. So the devotees following Mahaprabhu closely, we will always consider that Ram means Radha Raman, the enjoyer of Radha. Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, the enjoyer of Radha. So we stay with this Vrindavan conception fully. But there are others who don't, and that's quite all right. They will make their progress according to their adhikar and meet personalities according to their sanskar and sukriti. But it's Vishnu Tattva is what Prabhupada is saying. Those who are aware of Vishnu Tattva do not fight over these details. That Vishnu Tattva is the principle. In the Lagu Bhagavatamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami has explained Krishna as being both Shiradakshay Vishnu and Narayan in the spiritual sky. Shiradakshay Vishnu is like the supersoul, and at the same time, he's also Narayan in the spiritual sky. So ultimately, it's actually one in this instance. And expanding in the quadruple forms known as Vasudev, Sankasham, Pradumna, and Aniruddha. He has refuted the idea that Krishna is an incarnation of Narayan. Krishna is not an incarnation of Narayan. Some devotees think that Narayan is the original personality of Godhead and that Krishna is an incarnation. So many people, devotees here in India, think like this, actually, especially in South India, where the avatars were there performing many of their pastimes. In South India, Lord Ramchandra, etc. And who else in South India? Many avatars, Nrsingadev, many avatars were there. And they have many miracles, Aishwarya type miracles surrounding them, Vishnu manifestations. So many people consider that Lord Narayan is the original, and Krishna is manifesting from that with his playful sporting pastimes in Vrindavan. This is how they consider, because of their education and their teaching. If we take shelter of Mahaprabhu's teachings through Rupa Goswami, through Sanatana Goswami, through all these personalities, we will come to the right conclusion, according to the closeness to Mahaprabhu, to hear these truths. And certainly Rupa and Sanatana were very, very close to the Lord. Some devotees think that Narayan is the original personality of Godhead and that Krishna is an incarnation. Even Sankaracharya, in his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, has accepted Narayan as the transcendental personality of Godhead who appeared as Krishna. So even Sankaracharya supports this idea that Narayan is the fundamental personality. Who is Krishna, the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Therefore, this matter may be difficult to understand, but the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, headed by Rupa Goswami, has established the principle of the Bhagavad Gita that everything emanates from Krishna, who says in the Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. The point that Prabhupada is making is that everything comes from Krishna, and don't fall into debates about quibbling about who is superior like that. We can understand, according to Rupa Goswami's teachings and Sanatana Goswami's teachings, Jiva Goswami's teachings, that unequivocally that the Supreme Swayam Bhagavan is Brajendranandan Shamsundar. In Srimad Bhagavatam also, Ete Kamsa Kalapamsa, Krishna Stu Bhagavan Swayam, that Krishna is that Supreme Lord. I am Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, I am the original source of everything. Everything includes Narayan. Therefore, Rupa Goswami, in his Lagu Bhagavatamrita, has established that Krishna, not Narayan, is the original personality of Godhead. Yes, we are following this path. In this connection, he has quoted a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam that states, Svashanta Rupesha Itarye Swarupai Abhyadayamanasha Anukampitatma Paravesho Mahad Amsa Yukto He Ajo Pijato Bhagavan Yatagnahi. When pure devotees of the Lord, like Vasudeva, are greatly disturbed by dangerous demons like Kamsa, Lord Krishna joins with all his pastime expansions, such as the Lord of Vaikuntha. So Lord Narayan is there in his manifestation, in Mathura principally, as the Lord of, and although unborn, becomes manifest, just as fire becomes manifest by the friction of arani wood. Arani wood is used to ignite a sacrificial fire without matches or any other flame. Just as fire appears from arani wood, the Supreme Lord appears when there is friction between devotees and non-devotees. The Lord will automatically appear. When Krishna appears, he appears in full, including within himself all his expansions such as Narayan, Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Aniruddha, and Pradumna. Krishna is always integrated with his other incarnations, like Nrsimha, Varaha, Vamana, Naranarayan, Hayagriva, and Ajita. In Vrindavan, Lord Krishna sometimes exhibits the functions of such incarnations. We see one of the pastimes when Krishna enacts he's joking with the gopis and saying, don't you know I'm that Supreme Lord? I am that avatar coming from Lord Ramchandra. And they say, well, they taunt him, well, make your monkeys build a bridge across this lake here. And he does that. He makes the monkeys, he plays his flute, and the monkeys come and they lift rocks and boulders and put them, and they float across the pond, and the gopis can even walk across, carrying their flowers, etc. So he performs a pastime that up in fun. It's a joking, hasya ras mood. In the Brahmanda Purana, it is said, the same personality of Godhead, who is known in Vaikuntha as the four-handed Narayan, the friend of all living entities, and in the milk ocean as the Lord of Svetadvip, and who is the best of all Purushas, appeared as the son of Nanda. In a fire, there are many sparks of different dimensions. Some of them are very big and some are small. Some sparks are compared to the living entities, and the large sparks are compared to Vishnu expansions of Lord Krishna. All the incarnations emanate from Krishna, and after the end of their pastimes, they again merge with Krishna. In this connection, we can understand how Kalki appears within the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is the Yuga avatar for this Kali Yuga age. So he's appearing, he's the avatari, all the avatars are within him. So certainly Kalki avatar is within Krishna. So Kalki has already appeared in this age. Kalki will not appear at the end of the age because he's already appeared in the form of Mahaprabhu, within Mahaprabhu. And it's described that at the end of this age, it's the Mahamantra which will connect to the Satya Yuga, which comes after the Kali Yuga, when the beautiful mode of goodness winds start to blow. They will manifest from the Hare Krishna mantra chanted by the Brahmanas. Whereas in previous Kali Yugas, then Kalki himself will be the avatar of this age, and he will manifest and kill directly all the demonic elements. But in this age, the Mahamantra will carry it through into the next Yuga, Satya Yuga. The same personality of Godhead, who is known in Vaikuntha as the four-handed Narayan, the friend of all living entities, and the milk ocean as the Lord of Svetadvip, and who is the best of all Purushas, appeared as the son of Nanda. In a fire, oh yes, I've read all this. All the incarnate, yes, I've read that. Therefore, in the various Puranas, Krishna is described sometimes as Narayan, sometimes as Kshirodakshay Vishnu, sometimes as Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and sometimes as Vaikuntanath, the Lord of Vaikuntha. Because Krishna is always full, Mul Sankarshan is in Krishna, and since all incarnations are manifested from Mul Sankarshan, it should be understood that he can manifest different incarnations by his supreme will, even in the presence of Krishna. Great sages have therefore glorified the Lord by different names. Thus, the whole point of this purport is that Krishna's Kaviraj is saying that, I'll just read the translation again because this is what we're talking about. In whatever form one knows the Lord, one speaks of him in that way. So different people will see the Lord in different ways according to their adhikar, according to their sukriti. This is what Prabhupada is describing. By his supreme will, even in the presence of Krishna, great sages have therefore glorified the Lord by different names, according to their taste. Thus, when the original person, the source of all incarnations, is sometimes described as an incarnation, there is no discrepancy. That means certain people will see the Lord as manifesting from Narayan, but it's no need to, but if that person can hear, it's like, for example, Venkateshpata and his brother, Prabodhananda Saraswati, in the township of Sri Rangam in South India, where Mahaprabhu, he remained for the 4 months of the rainy season. And they were very much worshippers of Lakshmi Narayan. And Mahaprabhu tolerated that for like 3.5 months and accepted their hospitality, etc. But right towards the end, then he began to explain to them, actually, why is your Lakshmi Devi performing austerities in Belvan to dance in the Ras Lila with Brajendranandan Shyam Sundar if Lord Narayan is the highest personality? And at this, Venkateshpata, he began to consider, and in a very short time, by the influence of Mahaprabhu, they came to understand the highest tattva. But previously, Mahaprabhu wasn't disturbing their state of mind by immediately walking in there and saying, who is this Lakshmi Narayan, etc. So text 133. Ataiva Shri Krishna Caitanya Goshani Sarva Avatara Lila Kari Sabara Deki. Translation. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has exhibited to everyone all the pastimes of all the various incarnations. He exhibited to Murari Gupta the Varaha pastime, to Srivas Thakur, Nrsingadev, so many personalities. Also he demonstrated his Sadbhuj form to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, showing Lord Ramchandra, etc. All these incarnations are within the Lord. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has exhibited to everyone all the pastimes of all the various incarnations. Text 134.
E Rupe Nityananda Ananta Prakash Se Bhave Kahi Muni Chaitanya Radash.
Translation: Thus Lord Nityananda has unlimited incarnations. In transcendental emotion, he calls himself a servant of Lord Chaitanya. So sometimes Lord Nityananda is actually acting like the master, sometimes he's acting like the brother, sometimes he will act like the servant. He will take these different identities in his relationship with Mahaprabhu. Text 135.
Kabo Guru Kabo Sakha Kabo Pritya Lila Purve Yena Tina Bhave Raje Koile Kela.
Translation: Sometimes he serves Lord Chaitanya as his guru, sometimes as his friend, and sometimes as his servant, just as Lord Balaram played with Lord Krishna in these three different moods of Braj. So he takes these, we're talking about Nityananda, taking these different identities. Text 136.
Vrishahanu Krishna Sane Mata Matiran Kabo Krishna Kare Tandra Padasim Bahan.
Translation: Playing like a bull, Lord Balaram fights with Krishna head to head, and sometimes Lord Krishna massages the feet of Lord Balaram. This is the beauty of their relationship. Text 137.
Apaneka Pritya Kari Krishna Prabhujane Krishna Re Kalera Kala Apaneka Mane.
He considers himself a servant and knows Krishna to be his master. Thus he regards himself as a fragment of his plenary portion. Text 138.
Vrisham Yamano Nandananto Yudhate Parasparam Anukritya Rutye Jantumitums Chetur Prakrito Yata.
Translation: Acting just like ordinary boys, they played like roaring bulls as they fought each other, and they imitated the calls of various animals. This is in their playful Madhurya pastimes. Purport: This and the following quotation are from the Bhagavatam 10:11-40 and 10:15-14. Text 139.
Kvachit Krita Parisrantam Gopat Sango Parahanam Swayam Vishramanyatyayam Padasamvahanadvidhi.
Sometimes when Lord Krishna's elder brother, Lord Balaram, felt tired after playing and lay his head on the lap of a cowherd boy, Lord Krishna himself served him by massaging his feet. Text 140.
Kayam va kuta ayata daivi va narya uttasuri harayo matsatu me bratur nanya me pi vimohini.
Translation: Who is this mystic power, and where has she come from? Is she a demigod or a demoness? She must be the illusory energy of my master, Lord Krishna, for who else can bewilder me? This was in the beautiful Brahma Vimohan Lila pastime, when Lord Balaram didn't realize that Krishna had manifested himself as all the cows, the calves, and the cowherd boys for a whole year. And right at the end, we remember this beautiful pastime, how the female mother cows are grazing on the sides of the hill of Govardhan, and they suddenly see their one-year-old calves down in the valley below with the cowherd boys, and they break loose from the bonds of the gopas, and they charge down the side of the mountain, which is very dangerous for them. They could break their legs or anything. So the cowherd men, the gopas, become very angry trying to stop them from running down the side of the hill like this, the side of the mountain. And as soon as they reach the valley, they immediately start licking their 1-year-old calves, not their recent calves. Their recent calves are there also, the younger calves, but they're licking the 1-year-old calves, who are actually Krishna, and Krishna manifested. And the gopas, who are very angry at that time when they come down to the valley, they're also very frustrated that they haven't been able to stop the cows from running down the side of the hill and perhaps injuring themselves. But as soon as they see their sons, they immediately lose all their frustration and anger and sit their sons on their laps and began to stroke their faces and smell their heads, etc. And Baladev, he's watching this, and he can't understand what's actually happening here. Why are the cows so attracted to these 1-year-old calves and not to their younger calves? And why did the gopas lose all their frustration as soon as they came in contact with their beloved sons? So Baladev, he's looking at this, and he turns to his brother, questioning him. Krishna is there, questioning why are they doing like this? And then slowly Krishna reveals that actually these are all manifestations directly from the body of Krishna. They're all Vishnu Murtis coming from his body. Baladev is very bewildered. He can't understand this because previously, as he tells Krishna, he had understood they were all greatly fortunate jivas who had come as gopas, of cowherd boys of Krishna, parikars of Krishna. And Baladev is bewildered by this, and he was a little unhappy, and he turned to Krishna and said, "Why didn't you tell me about this?" And Krishna said, "Because I knew you would miss Sridham Sakha too much." Baladev and Sridham are very, very close together. So for a whole year, he would have missed his beloved Sridham, who was actually placed in a yoga nidra state by Krishna himself, all of the cowherd boys and the calves. Lord Brahma stole a Mayic representation of the cowherd boys and the calves and put them in a cave. Then the real calves and cowherd boys were placed in a yoga nidra state by Yoga Maya. And then there were the third set of cowherd boys and calves, which actually were direct Vishnu Murtis coming from the body of Krishna directly. So Krishna actually, it's described by the Acharyas, he couldn't tell. Balaram didn't come out on the day when Lord Brahma steals these cows and calves and cowherd boys. He was actually at home celebrating his birthday. So he didn't come out on that day. That's why he was bewildered by what was happening. But Krishna, the Acharyas, they reveal that Krishna couldn't have told Balaram. Balaram had to be, it had to be without Balaram knowing, because Balaram would have told Mother Yashoda practically immediately. Balaram would have said this, would have opened the secret to Mother Yashoda, so he had to be kept in ignorance about it. But he was very distressed when he did find out. He doesn't actually, in Gopal Champu, it's described by Jiva Goswami, he doesn't come out on the pastures for the next 5 days because he's actually a little upset with Krishna for not revealing him about this pastime. And when he does come out, he performs the pastime of killing Dhenukasura. So this again re-establishes Balaram. Text 140.
Kayam va kuta ayata.
Oh, I already read that. Okay, so text 141.
Yasyangri pankajarajo akila.
Let's start again.
Yasyangri pankajoraja kila lokapalai molyat yolyutyamai dritam upasita tirtam Brahma bhavoham api yasya kalaya Shriskod vahema chiram asya nirpasananam kva.
Translation. What is the value of a throne to Lord Krishna? The masters of the various planetary systems accept the dust of his lotus feet on their crowned heads. That dust makes the holy places sacred, and even Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lakshmi, and I myself, who are all portions of his plenary portion, eternally carry that dust on our heads. This is spoken by Balaram. It's described. When the Kauravas, to flatter Baladev so that he would become their ally, spoke ill of Sri Krishna, Lord Baladev became angry and spoke this verse. So this verse is being spoken by Baladev Prabhu. Text 142.
Ekala Ishvara Krishna Ara Sabu Pratya Yare Yache Naschaya Se Taiche Kari Nritya.
Translation. Lord Krishna alone is the supreme controller, and all others are his servants. They dance as he makes them do so. So this is what we're hearing constantly. We're establishing tattva here of the supremacy of the Supreme Lord and his supreme servant, Balaram and Nityananda. This is what this whole chapter is presenting. So Krishna regularly is substantiated as being that supreme whole. Text 143.
E Mata Caitanya Goshani Ekala Ishvara Are Shaba Parisade Keha Va Kinara.
Translation. Thus, Lord Chaitanya is also the only controller. All others are his associates or servants. This is the point that Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj wants to so excellently present. And the way his language and the way he's moving through these different tattvas to give us this one final conclusion is sublime. It's very, very beautiful. Text 144 and 145.
Guru Varga Nityananda Advaita Acharya Shrivasadi Arayata Lagu Sama Arya Shabe Parisada Sabe Lilara Sahaya Sabalane Nija Karya Sadhe Gaudaraya.
Translation. His elders, such as Lord Nityananda, Advaita Acharya, and Srivas Thakur, as well as his other devotees, whether his juniors, equals, or superiors, are all his associates who help him in his pastimes. Lord Gauranga fulfills his aims with their help. So most of the associates of Mahaprabhu, they're either demigods or they're eternal parikas from the spiritual world, as we've described today in the form of Vakreshwar Pandit. He's an eternal parika of the Lord in the supreme spiritual realm of Dwarka as Aniruddha. Text 146.
Advaitaracharya Nityananda Due Anga Due Jana Lana Prabhura Yata Kichuranga.
Translation. Sri Advaitaracharya and Srila Nityananda Prabhu, who are plenary parts of the Lord, are his principal associates. With these two, the Lord performs his pastimes in various ways. They're described as his commanders, his chief commanders, because they preach in Bengal. They're preaching what? They're not preaching Braja Prem. They're preaching the precepts of Shuddha Bhakti. This is what Nityananda and Advaitaracharya principally are laying down the foundation so that Braja Prem can sit on the foundation of their preaching. They are directing everyone to come to Mahaprabhu, to receive this seed of Braja Prem. But they themselves in Bengal principally are preaching the precepts of Shuddha Bhakti, pure Bhakti. And from that preaching and connecting with Mahaprabhu's direct teachers, we can say, Rupa, Sanatan, the Goswamis, then they will get the understanding of what is Braja Prem. Braja Prem is the confidential gift of Mahaprabhu. When the pastime at the beginning of the Adi-lila, first chapter, when Rupa Goswami goes to Puri and he speaks in an assembly there in front of Nityananda, Ramananda Roy, Swarup Damodar, Advaita Acharya, all these elder personalities, they are all astonished at the truths that Rupa Goswami presents about Braja Bhakti, about the truth of the potency of the holy name, all the descriptions of Vrindavan itself, and Krishna's attractiveness to the gopis and the gopis' prem are all carefully enunciated, coming from this Vidagdha Madhav and Lalita Madhav, both of these works by Rupa Goswami. And these personalities, these older personalities, Advaita Acharya, Nityananda, they are astonished when they hear these truths, because this is actually relishing for, they are relishing this truth, because the principal truths that they are distributing is not on the same level. Try to understand that. Advaita Acharya and Nityananda, they're not directly indicating Braja Prem, they're indicating Mahaprabhu. They're saying, you come to Mahaprabhu, Heino Nitai Bine Bai, Radha Krishna Paitina. To come to Nityananda, then he will direct us to the Vrindavan Lila that Mahaprabhu is teaching through Rupa Goswami, through Sanatana Goswami, through Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj. All of these personalities. These Goswamis were a different generation to the majority of Mahaprabhu's associates, his eternal associates. His eternal, like Pundarik Vidyanidhi, etc., Bhakrishra Pandit, that we've described today. They were his associates, his personal associates, but not many of them. We know the principal example in the Rath Yatra festival, when Mahaprabhu was singing this song. What's that song? Hari Haras Kara, I forgot that song. That Hari Haras Kara. Anyway, that beautiful he was singing a mundane song. No one could understand it. Nityananda was there, he couldn't understand it. Advaita Acharya was there, he couldn't understand it. But only Mahaprabhu could actually understand that. Hari Haras Hara is the first line of that. And then we know the pastime where Rupa Goswami, he writes a parallel verse to that. That verse that Mahaprabhu, that song that Mahaprabhu is saying, is like a mundane song, that he wants to go back to the Vetasi river before they were married as lovers. But the Vetasi river is not in Vrindavan. But Rupa Goswami, he writes a parallel verse about Radha and Krishna wanting to go back to the Jamuna, back to the banks of the Jamuna. And Mahaprabhu is so pleased with that. Only one person understood that, why Mahaprabhu was chanting that verse. And that was Rupa Goswami and Swarup Damodar Maharaj. Swarup Damodar. He understood that verse, but no one else could understand that. No one. So therefore, Advaita Acharya Nityananda, they're preaching, their purpose is different from Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu, his mission is to give this Braja Prem, whereas Advaita Acharya and Nityananda are to purify the jivas, to come to a platform where they have the adhikar to understand what is Braja Prem. So the two are working in complete synchronicity. I hope that's clear with everybody, what I just said. I don't have those verses with me. I can't remember them. I'll post them afterwards. Text 146, I think. Is that right? Advaita Acharya Nityananda Due Anga Due Jana Lana Prabhu Yata Kucharanga Shri Advaita Acharya and Srila Nityananda Prabhu are his plenary parts of the Lord, and his principal associates. With these two, the Lord performs his pastimes in various ways. Okay. Text 147.
Advaita Acharya Goshani Sakshadishvara Prabhu Guru Karimane Tinhoita Kinkara.
Lord Advaita Acharya is directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Directly. Although Lord Chaitanya accepts him as his preceptor, Advaita Acharya is a servant of the Lord. Advaita Acharya is subservient to the Lord. Purport. Lord Chaitanya always offered respects to Advaita Prabhu as he would to his father, because Advaita was even older than his father. Yet Advaita Prabhu always considered himself a servant of Lord Chaitanya. Sri Advaita Prabhu and Ishvara Puri, Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master, were both disciples of Madhavendra Puri. So sometimes it's described Madhavendra Puri as the disciple, is the guru of Nityananda. Sometimes it's described that Lakshmipati Tirtha is his guru. Nevertheless, Nityananda associated most certainly with Madhavendra Puri as his shishya. Madhavendra Puri is older than Nityananda, who was also the spiritual master of Nityananda Prabhu. Thus, Advaita Prabhu, as Lord Chaitanya's spiritual uncle, was always to be respected, because one should respect one's spiritual masters, god brothers, as one respects one's spiritual master. Because of all these considerations, Sri Advaita Prabhu was superior to Lord Chaitanya, yet Advaita Prabhu considered himself Lord Chaitanya's subordinate. And we always remember the pastime when, because Mahaprabhu was always honoring Advaita Acharya, as we've just described here, as his guru Jana, because of his age and because of his connection as a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. And Advaita Acharya begins to speak Advaita philosophy from Shantipur. He's speaking Advaita philosophy. Mahaprabhu comes to find out. He comes over there in a fury and he beats Advaita Acharya very heavily. Why? You've called me to purify the world of this Advaitavad and you're preaching it yourself. And he beats him so hard that Mother Sachi, his wife, has to intervene and say, no, please don't beat him anymore, you'll kill the old man. She says like that. So Advaita Acharya becomes so elated that now finally Mahaprabhu is treating him as an inferior, not as an equal. This was the position that he wanted, to get the mercy of Mahaprabhu. How can you get the mercy of Mahaprabhu if you're thinking that you're higher, more superior to Mahaprabhu? So, like that. Text 148. Acharya Goshanir Tattva Naya Yaya Katane Krishna Avatari Yeno Tarila Bhavane. Translation: I cannot describe the truth of Advaita Acharya. He has delivered the entire world by making Lord Krishna descend. He's the Supreme Lord. He's Mahavishnu himself. He's completely Vishnu Tattva. So he called the Supreme Lord by his loud calling. Text 149. Nityananda Swarup Purve Haiya Lakshmana Lagu Bratra Hoye Kare Ramara Sevana. Translation: Lord Nityananda Swarup formerly appeared as Lakshman and served Lord Ramchandra as his younger brother. Purport: as the sannyasis of the Sankara Sampradaya, there are different names for brahmacharis. Each sannyasi has some assistants, known as brahmacharis, who are called by different names according to the names of the sannyasi. Among such brahmacharis there are 4 names: Swarup, Ananda, Prakash, and Chaitanya. Nityananda Prabhu maintained himself as a brahmachari. He never took sannyas. As a brahmachari, his name was Nityananda Swarup, and therefore the sannyasi under whom he was living must have been from the tirthas or ashrams of the Sankara Sampradaya, because they were the most prominent persons at the time in India. Because one of the names for the assistant brahmachari of such a sannyas is Swarup. So he was called Swarup also, just like Swarup Damodar. Text 150.
Ramare charitra sava dukera karana swatantra lilyaya dukkha sahana lakshmana.
The activities of Lord Ram were full of suffering, but Lakshman of his own accord tolerated that suffering. Text 151. Lakshman had to take Sita to the forest. He had to do so many unpleasant tasks for Lord Ram, which he didn't want to do. He guarded the house where Sita was. He tried to dissuade Ram from chasing that golden deer that Marichi had tried to entice Ram away from the cottage so Ravan could steal Sita. So the name of, the name of Advaita Acharya's wife is Sita Thakurani. I inadvertently said Sachi Mata, Sachi Dev tried to stop Mahaprabhu beating her husband. Sita tried to stop her husband. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu beating her husband. I'm just making correction if you're listening.
Nisheda karite nare yate chota bae maunadari rahe lakshman mane dukkha pae.
This is text 151. As a younger brother, he could not stop Lord Ram from his resolution, and so he remained silent, although unhappy in his mind. My Gurudev describes that Lakshman decided he would never again become the younger brother, so he wouldn't have to perform such pastimes. He would be the older brother as Balaram, which he became in the Krishna Lila. But still he performed pastimes that weren't always pleasing to Krishna. He didn't take part in the Kurukshetra war, etc. Because he sided with Duryodhana. He'd actually taught Duryodhana how to use his club. Text 152.
Krishna avatare jyeshta hoile sevar karana Krishna karaile nana sukha asvadana.
Translation. When Lord Krishna appeared, he, Balaram, became his elder brother to serve him to his heart's content and make him enjoy all sorts of happiness. Text 153.
Rama Lakshman Krishna Ramara Amsa Vishesha Avatara Kaile Dohete Pravesha.
Sri Ram and Sri Lakshman, who are plenary portions of Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram respectively, entered into them at the time of Krishna and Balaram's appearance. So Ram and Lakshman entered into Krishna and Balaram's forms at the time of his appearance. Purport. With reference to the Vishnu Damotara, the Lagu Bhagavatamrita explains that Ram is an incarnation of Vasudeva, Lakshman is an incarnation of Sankarshan, Bharat is an incarnation of Pradumna, and Satrughna is an incarnation of Aniruddha. The Padma Purana describes that Ramchandra is Narayan and that Lakshman, Bharat, and Satrughna are respectively Shesha, Lakshman is Shesha, Chakra is Bharat, and Shank is Satrughna. The conch is Satrughna. The conch shell in the hand of Lord Narayan. In the Ram Geet of the Skanda Purana, Lakshman, Bharat, and Satrughna have been described as the triple attendants of Lord Ram. So these personalities are being mentioned here. Text 154.
Seyang Salana Jesta Kanishtam Viman Amsamista Rupe Shastre Kariya Vikyan.
Krishna and Balaram present themselves as younger brother and elder brother, but in the scriptures they are described as the original supreme personality of Godhead and his expansion. Text 155.
Ramardi Murti Shukalani Emena Tishtan Nanavatara Makarol Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramam Pumam Yo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Translation. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who by his various plenary portions appears in the world in different forms and incarnations, such as Lord Ram, but who personally appears in his supreme original form as Lord Krishna. So this is the point that Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj is establishing, that same Krishna has manifested again as Sachinandan Gaurahari. And it's only once in the day of Lord Brahma that this happens. Krishna only appears once, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only appears once, straight after. Purport. This is a quotation from Brahma Samhita 5.39. So verse 156.
Shri Chaitanya say Krishna Nityananda Ram Nityananda Purnikare Chaitanya Rakam.
Lord Chaitanya is the same Lord Krishna, and Lord Nityananda is Lord Balaram. Lord Nityananda fulfills all of Lord Chaitanya's desires. 157.
Nityananda Mahima Sindhu Antar Apara Eka Kana Sparshi Matra Se Kripa Tanhara.
Translation. The ocean of Lord Nityananda's glories is infinite and unfathomable. Only by his mercy can I touch even a drop of it. So we personally can expand all of what we've been hearing about continuously, about the glories of Lord Nityananda. They are endless. 158.
Ara Eka Sunatandra Kripara Mahima Adama Jivera Chadyohele Udhava Simha.
Translation. Please describe another glory of his mercy. He made a falling living entity climb to the highest limit. Now, I'm going to leave it here because we're going to get into a very beautiful pastime, a personal pastime of Krishnadas Kaviraj in his home and how he leaves his home for Vrindavan. So we'll discuss this pastime tomorrow on Tuesday. We'll save that for the end. So this is very beautiful. The whole construction of this chapter, if somebody took it apart and analyzed it and could see it the way it was moving through to come to the final conclusion, the ocean of Nityananda's glories is infinite and unfathomable. This is basically what we've been hearing. All of these remarkable pastimes of Nityananda Ram. So Nityananda Ram ki jai. Go Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. So tomorrow we'll start on verse 159. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, O Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, O Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, O Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol.
Go Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. I know we've been moving actually very quickly through all these truths. Many of these tattvas and siddhantas we could sit on for much longer, but we're just trying to complete to the chapter and not make it any longer than it already is. So I'm glad that you can be patient and hear these truths. If we simply hear them, give them oral reception, then when we hear them again and again and again, they'll accumulate their ability to open themselves out to us. Shri Sachinandan Gaurahari ki jai, Nityananda Rai ki jai, Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Vakrishra Pandit Prabhu ki jai, Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Vanshakalpa Tarupyascha, Kripa Sindhu Bevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha.